you ever feel tired even when you're eating healthy? You might be missing one key nutrient, protein. Most people are eating only half of what their body actually needs for repair and hormones and energy. And protein isn't just for muscles, it's for your brain, your immune system, and every single cell in your body that God designed to renew daily. In this video, I'm going to show you how exactly you can reach 100 grams of protein every day, whether you enjoy clean animal foods or you prefer plant-based meals. You're going to see what that looks like in real food, how to combine the proteins wisely, and why this one change can completely transform your strength, your focus, and your metabolism. And I've invited Dr. Jae Hitson to join me and share what your blood work might already be revealing. Because if your protein markers are low, your body is sending an early warning sign, and you need to pay attention. Thank you for letting me share with you God's recipe for excellent health. I am Annette Reeder from the biblicalnutritionist.com. Let's hear now about my interview with Dr. Jae about protein. Well, Dr. Jae, with protein being so important just for health purposes, yet as I've already shared, most people don't know, well, where are they with their protein and how do they know if they need more protein or more quality protein? And so that's why I'm so glad that you're a part of this video today so that we can let people know. And you just have such a great perspective on health, but also a presence with each client that you work with. So get us started with protein.
Protein is one of the things that I run into that we become really deficient, especially as we age. I don't run into as many people in their teens and their 20s necessarily having issues with protein, but especially as you start to hit your 40s, your 50s, 60s, and beyond, you really do need to get it tested because what you used to be able to get away with when we were younger it just isn't the case. I have my theories as why we're losing our protein content as we age. I think it's because we metabolize our muscle. We lose muscle at a rapid rate after the age of 40. And I think just keeping up with that muscle rebuilding is potentially using up our proteins. I also have a theory with regards to our digestion. So you absorb your protein, obviously, in your digestive tract, and we are just seeing a massive epidemic of digestive issues that are happening. So it's actually quite interesting whenever we are looking at protein and analyzing protein from the standpoint of blood work. It is actually the digestive markers that you're looking at that tell you how well you are absorbing your protein. So we use these various blood panels, and actually the good news is they're relatively easy to access number.
All right, that is excellent. So show us if so some people are not using you for their blood work, and I hope they change that. But because if they work with you, they actually get this, you'll point it out to them. But let's just assume they have some blood work, they printed it out, it's at their house, and they're looking at it. What are they looking for on the blood work specifically that says, hey, you've got a protein deficiency going on?
Number one is it's a very simple line, total protein. Kind of obvious, but it is one of the ones that usually, if you do request it, it's one that will get honored. So total protein. Now, when you look at total protein and you get your lab results back from, LabCorp Quest or whoever your diagnostic facility is, they have a very wide berth for what they consider quote unquote normal. And so it is very rare that I see individuals who even have their total protein marked in bold, which is usually whenever bold is bad, according to most of those lab reports. But that is not what's true for healthy Americans over the age of 40. Because again, keep in mind that your labs are looking at you from the perspective of everyone from the age of 15 to 85 and trying to get a median in the middle. And that's just not a really great way to look at it. So there's a number called total protein. And when you look at that number, whether male or female, you want that number to be over 7.0. 7.0. 7 is like a magic number. It's a great number. And if you're over that number, you're at least in a safe range. I'll also point out that it is much more common for women to struggle with protein than men. Then there's a lot of reasons for that, but women in general do run extremely low. And especially as you start to see your numbers drop from like to 6.7 and 6.5, and anything below 6.5, you are not going to be able to keep up with your own metabolism. And that becomes a real issue. And while you're at that, they almost always run something called albumin and globulin. Now, these two numbers aren't quite as significant as total protein. They're more like supporting documents. So if total protein is off and albumin and globulin, well, yeah, you really do have a problem. Whereas opposed to albumin and globulin being off in themselves, they aren't as strong of an indicator. So if you are looking at having all three numbers off, you probably either are not consuming or you have some serious digestive issues that are keeping you from being able to absorb what you're eating.
Struggling with cravings, fatigue, or confusion about your health? You're not alone. But you don't have to stay stuck. Get the free Bible Health ebook and discover 7 powerful steps to real, lasting transformation God's way. Break emotional eating. Learn what truly satisfies. Align your health with God's truth. This is your breakthrough. Get your free Bible Health ebook now on the website, thebiblicalnutritionist.com. It's time to take the first step toward vibrant health, both physically and spiritually.
Okay, thank you so much. So, but you didn't give us numbers on the albumin and the globulin.
Absolutely. So with regards to albumin, albumin's range, you really want to be somewhere in, I consider anything between 4 and 5. So if your number is 4 point something, you're probably within range with regards to albumin. Though if we want to get really specific on albumin, I do like between 4.3 and 4.7. That's like really ideal. And albumin is a lot about like it's your transporters. So albumin goes up and down based on how much there is to transport. I kind of think of it as, if the supply and chain demand, how many semi trucks are leaving the factory with what you need going to the right sources. So that's what albumin more so is. It's again, don't get overly concerned if your numbers there are off by a small margin. These numbers do fluctuate, but that's a good range. Anything in the 4.0s. Globulin is anywhere. Really, you want to be basically between 2.8 and 3.5. 2.8, 3.5. I will say it's become incredibly common for most Americans to be off on globulin. It's another part of protein transportation without getting too complicated. It's just another one of those factors that tells us how well you're metabolizing out your proteins.
Perfect. Is there any other numbers they should look for?
Yes. So one of the other things that I really encourage you to look at is your B vitamin absorption. Now, specifically, I test for B12 because if you're off by B12, then there's a very good chance that you're off by the other B vitamins. By all means, you can get your B9, your folate tested. You can get these other ones. The reason I go to B12 is because of the value. And when you start testing for every single thing economically, because this is usually going to be out of pocket, you're going to have a very difficult time having insurance cover a full B complex panel. But being able to get B12, especially if you have fatigue, and you ask for a B12 test, that you have a good chance of getting that one covered. And again, if you're missing B12, then there's a very good chance you're missing the other B vitamins. The reason why I bring up your B vitamins in context of protein is the number one source of B vitamins is meat, proteins. So if you are consuming your proteins, you're getting those in, you're actually consuming them, but you're not absorbing the nutrients within them, then you're probably also not absorbing just the raw protein.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. Are there any other tests that they should be looking for protein?
So when we're looking at protein, now this one is a much more secondary, but it just gives you a fuller picture. And it's a particular set of tests that are very easy to access. And they are listed as MCV, MCH, MCHC, and RDW. All of those are acronyms. Most of them stand for like MCV, the V stands for volume, and RDW, the W stands for width. They are measurements of cell size. This isn't specific to proteins per se, but they are one of the other areas when these numbers are off. It is because you're dealing with a malabsorption. Now, again, this could be because you're not eating it or you're not digesting it. And as a general, it is very rare for your lab to mark these numbers in bold when you are off. So let me just give you a couple ranges. An MCV, again, it's just it tells us how much volume your cells have. An MCV, you want to be in the range of about 84 to 92. That's a pretty ideal range for an MCV. An MCH is 26. Yeah. I say 26. I really prefer like 28 to 31 is a really ideal range. NCHC, I really prefer people to be more about 33 to 34. It's kind of a narrow range on that one. And then RDW will be about 12.9 to about 14. So about 13 to 14 is that ideal range in there. And just to take one step back with regards to B12. B12 is a really interesting marker. And in general, you want your B12 levels to be above 550. You want to be above 550. Anything below 550, you will feel the effects. Now, some of you have been taking a lot of B12 and your numbers are going to be extremely high, and they'll even be bolded because it's showing these high levels. Some individuals have even been getting, they're getting B12 injections. So their numbers are going to be quite elevated. It's not dangerous to have a lot of B12. It's not necessary. Could be considered even wasteful, especially if you're supplementing it, because you're not really able to utilize that much B12. The ideal range is probably somewhere between about 550 and about 1,200. If you're in those ranges, you're in good with your B12. Any more than that, it's more than the body can utilize. So we always talk about, value. You don't want to be taking more than what your body needs.
All right, perfect. Anything else you want to share with us in regards to protein?
With regards to protein, it has a lot to do with one, consuming it. And there is a very important factor that if weight loss is an objective, keeping up with your muscle mass and your metabolism is critical. So you need to make sure you're getting protein if you are trying to get to a healthier weight. Furthermore, one of the other reasons why individuals can't absorb their protein is because of something we call fight or flight. It's a stress state. When you're in that stressed state, your body stops digestion. And one of the factors that will be very frustrating for certain individuals, you're like, I am getting 100 grams of protein. I am doing, I'm doing the supplements, I'm doing all the things, and my protein is still not elevating, it's still not going up. One, most people know. Most people are very aware that they live in a very stressed state. They're very aware that they're in fight or flight. If you are in fight or flight, you are not digesting. And it kind of makes sense. If you're being chased by a tiger, you need all your energy, all your effort to go into getting away from the tiger. Excess energy used processing your breakfast is not a good utilization of those resources at that moment. Now, we're designed to only be in fight or flight for the 15 minutes trying to get away from the tiger, but whenever you're spending 15 months and 15 years in that cycle, that's where we see a lot of individuals who have just years and years of not processing their foods. And furthermore, some people, just because of they don't have a gallbladder. If you don't have a gallbladder, you're not going to be able to break down your proteins as efficiently as somebody who does have a highly functioning gallbladder. And that's really where you have to get into digestive enzymes and getting some assistance breaking down your food. And digestive enzymes have really been a huge resource for so many people who can't break down their proteins.
I so agree. And so, as far as testing goes, how often should they have their blood work done to see if the changes that they're making in their diet is making a difference?
We absolutely see changes within 90 days. I really encourage everybody to repeat testing within about 90 days. Some people, you can see it within about 6 weeks, but as a general, you want to get some consistency, not just see that initial spike, but you want to make sure that this is something that you can maintain and keep up with. And then after about 3 months, you'll have that information.
Totally. All right. Thank you, Dr. J, for being a part of this video talking about protein.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Struggling with cravings, fatigue, or confusion about your health? You're not alone. But you don't have to stay stuck. Get the free Bible Health ebook and discover 7 powerful steps to real, lasting transformation God's way. Break emotional eating. Learn what truly satisfies. Align your health with God's truth. This is your breakthrough. Get your free Bible Health ebook now on the website, thebiblicalnutritionist.com. It's time to take the first step toward vibrant health, both physically and spiritually.
Wasn't that powerful? I love how Dr. Jae, she helps us to see that your blood work tells the story of your cells. When total protein and albumin is low, it's like your body is waving a flag saying, I don't have the building blocks that I need to repair. So let's talk about how to fix that, because you can absolutely nourish your body back to strength with real food. So let's start with the animal-based protein plan first. So 100 grams. Now women can eat anywhere from 80 to 100 grams and have a very healthy day. Men, it's right, 100 to 110 would be better. So if you enjoy clean animal foods, the ones God called good in Scripture, this plan makes it simple. So here's one full day that might look like. So for breakfast, you might have 3 eggs plus 2 ounces of cottage cheese, and that's about 32 grams of protein right there. Each single egg is 6 to 7 grams, and cottage cheese is just 2 ounces. Well, basically, cottage cheese is 4 grams per ounce. Now, for lunch, you could have 4 ounces of chicken breast, which I've put on a salad here. You could add 1 cup of quinoa. That adds 43 grams, because chicken is 8 grams per ounce, and quinoa, 1 cup is 8 grams. Now, I've used one of my recipes out of the Healthy Treasures cookbook to make this apple cranberry quinoa. Now, in the afternoon, you could have a half a cup of yogurt and 1 tablespoon of collagen, and that would be another 19 grams. Every 1/4 cup of Greek yogurt is 6 grams of protein. And this is actually my homemade raw yogurt. For dinner, you could have 3 ounces of salmon for 22 grams of protein. So salmon, the different salmon that are out there are going to vary anywhere from 17 to 23 grams for just 3 ounces. Now what I have here is actually 2 2-ounce patties. Right away, you can see our full day has 100 grams, and just with healthy portions, we're not eating out of balance. And when we eat this way, we're giving your cells exactly what they need to repair, rebuild, and to thrive. God's foods, eggs and fish and clean meats and fermented dairy, are rich in amino acids that your body recognizes and uses efficiently. Add in plenty of vegetables and herbs and healthy fats, and you have a perfect balance for your hormones, your immune system, and your energy. Now let's look at plant-based, 100 grams of protein. So if we were to look at this, there are ways, and we could use protein powders, and there are some very good trusted plans out there that you could use. This one is a pea and a pumpkin seed protein. So if you start to make a smoothie and you have your clean protein powder, you could add 2 tablespoons of hemp seeds and 2 tablespoons of chia seeds blended in an almond milk or maybe your own raw milk. That's over 31 grams of protein. What a great start to the day. For lunch, we could have a cup of lentils and a half a cup of quinoa. Again, top it off with some sunflower seeds, and you've got 29 grams. Now, after lunch, if you want to have a snack, you could have some hummus made with some extra chickpeas and maybe even some roasted chickpeas on the side for a snack. Now, that's another 19 grams. Now, for dinner, we could do just basically 1 cup of black beans, a half a cup of brown rice. We could add on some pumpkin seeds, and then we would have 28 grams. So what I just shared with you was very simple, and it was 104 grams total for the whole day. Now, I'm not a soy protein person because it's too hard to find really good organic soy, but that also is a good protein. Now, it's amazing how simple it can be when you just do legumes and lentils and grains and nuts and seeds all together. They complement each other to give your body all of the essential amino acids that it needs. Now, I do want you to add in vitamin C rich foods like your red peppers and your citrus to enhance the iron and the mineral uptake. When you choose God's foods from His design, which are whole and nourishing and unprocessed. Now, the protein powder would be processed, but beyond that, you just want to make sure you choose a good brand. You're giving your body everything it needs to heal and thrive. Now, let's compare the 2 plans briefly. Animal proteins naturally contain all essential amino acids in a perfect ratio. So smaller portions like the salmon can actually go a really long way. Plant proteins can be just as effective when you combine them wisely throughout the day. Think of lentils with rice, hummus with whole grain, oats with nuts and seeds. So we are getting all of the amino acids in one meal. Here's a simple daily strategy. Aim for 20 to 30 grams of protein in each meal. Track your intake for 3 days just to see where you are starting. And then notice how you feel when you start meeting your body's needs. The Hunger Satisfied Journal is perfect to doing this. And then to learn more, check out the Treasures of Health Nutrition Manual. It's an encyclopedia of information, and both of those books I have written. Now, you may see clearer skin, stronger hair, better focus, and fewer sugar cravings, and that would be a blessing. But if these blessings are not surfacing when you start eating this way, then it might be that you have a lack of enzymes, digestive enzymes, specifically for protein. So that's where I would recommend either the Amari Digestive or Transformations Digest. Protein gives your body stability. It's the nutrient that keeps your blood sugar steady and your mind calm. God designed your body to rebuild daily, but He gave you the responsibility to supply the materials. As Scripture says, whatever you eat or drink, do all for the glory of God. And when you eat the foods that He created and you give your body what it truly needs, you're partnering with His design for strength and energy and restoration. At our biblical wellness retreats, we call it, we're reclaiming our health back. So if you'd like a free printable guide that shows these protein examples, both animal and plant-based, plus a quick shopping list, I've linked it for you down below. And if you desire to have Dr. Jae Hitson as your doctor, her link is below as well at Good Doctors. I am Annette Reeder, the Biblical Nutritionist, reminding you that God's recipe for excellent health starts with His Word and the foods that He called good. Don't forget our 3 principles. Eat the foods God called good, eat them as close to the way He designed it, and don't let any food become an addiction. Thank you for letting me share with you God's recipe for excellent health, and please share this video with 3 of your friends, and together, see what it's like to start seeing how are you feeling when you increase your protein per day up to minimum of 80 for a woman and a minimum of 100 for a man, and whether you're using plant proteins or animal proteins. They both work really well.
Struggling with cravings, fatigue, or confusion about your health? You're not alone. But you don't have to stay stuck. Get the free Bible Health ebook and discover 7 powerful steps to real, lasting transformation God's way. Break emotional eating. Learn what truly satisfies. Align your health with God's truth. This is your breakthrough. Get your free Bible Health ebook now on the website, thebiblicalnutritionist.com. It's time to take the first step toward vibrant health, both physically and spiritually.